Alright, so I'm going to be making a video about how you can overcome your fear of MRIs. So first of all, I want to say that I'm not going to be touching on the topic of contrast dye. That's going to be a topic for another video. But if you are afraid of MRIs and contrast dye, you should still watch this video because it is going to help you regardless whether you have to get contrast dye or not. Alright, so a lot of people are still just afraid of the MRIs in general, not even the contrast dye included. So that's what I'm going to be talking about. It's just going to be the MRI and why you shouldn't be afraid of it. So yeah, just real quick, there's no radiation. This is just magnets. It's very safe. Literally, you're just going in there to get a picture taken, and it's going to take around 20 to 30 minutes, depending on the type of test you get. But yeah, I'm just gonna be walking through all the steps you can take to kind of get through this because a lot of people with claustrophobia or just general anxiety struggle with this and they can't get the imaging that they need to. So, all right, what we're gonna be talking about before. So before you start, I want you to ask the technician how long it's gonna take. So it usually depends on what kind of scan you're getting, but it really would average between like 20 to 30 minutes. All right, so next I'm going to be talking about whenever you get to the actual MRI location. So before you go into the machine, just have the technician walk you through the process of getting into the machine before you actually do it. And just say, you're nervous and you get claustrophobic. Just because this will really let them know that, they're going to need to kind of go slowly and talk you through it. So just ask them to walk you through all the steps so know what's coming, how long it's going to take, and that really will help. Often they will have music that you can listen to. You can kind of choose what music you want to listen to, and this will be dependent on which MRI you go to. So not all of them have music, but most of them nowadays do. But just don't count on it. Sometimes you can pick the music, sometimes you can't. Last time I just let them pick for me and they just put on like country music because I didn't want to say I want to listen to Madison Beer or something. So I was just like, I don't care, I'm too cool to care. So they just put on country music and I don't even like country music. But anyways, that's what they put on last time for me. All right, so then nextly, we're going to talk about the steps that you're going to go through. So I'm going to want you to ask the technician about these steps before you actually do it because it's going to be different depending on what kind of test you get. But I'm just going to give you kind of the steps that I went through the last time I got an MRI, which was for a brain scan. All right, so you lie down on a table and then they'll give you the headphones and then they put a small cover over your face and it's like a plastic cover and it's about like 2 inches from your face and it was a square and you can kind of see through it, but it really does add to that little like claustrophobia feeling because it's right in your face. And so that's just kind of going to be something that you're going to have to be aware of, but depending on the kind of test you're going to get, it's going to be different. So like if you're getting something for your arm, they're going to have you laying in the machine a different way, etc., etc. Right, so they put the small cover in my face and then they raised me up slowly and then they slid me into the MRI machine and I was asking about like, oh, how far do I go in? And they're like, oh, you won't be going in that far. You'll still be able to see out of it a little bit. And whenever that actually like started to happen, like I got raised up and they brought me into the machine, there's like a moment where they raise you up slowly, but the machine, whenever you go into it, actually goes pretty fast. And that's whenever I started getting the extreme anxiety response. But like I said before in my other videos, I've dealt with this so much and I've know how to handle it. So I just got that oh shit feeling, cortisol spike, adrenaline spike, but I knew how to lay there and to eventually relax my thoughts, even though the whole time it wasn't enjoyable for me because I got that claustrophobia feeling. But anyways, once you're in the MRI machine, at first you still might be able to see out the side of the machine, but then they'll push you in further until you're fully inside. And that's when it can get a little claustrophobic. So at this point, my heart started racing, but I used breathing and mental techniques to calm down that I've talked about in my other videos, and I also talk about in my course, top link in the description. And yeah, so for about the first 5 minutes, I was having that anxiety response, but after 5 minutes, I caught my breath. Around 10 minutes, I started to relax. And I still get like spikes of adrenaline, but that was okay just because I brought my focus back to each time because I realized I was starting to lose it. And then I just, through meditation, I've really been able to understand my thoughts and see when I'm starting to spiral and be able to bring myself back. So now when you're in the machine, I also want to talk about some other things that you're going to hear. There's going to be a constant clicking sound, like someone's put a tennis shoe in a washing machine. Then you'll also hear different like loud bursts. It's like loud buzzing, screeching, and like shaking noises during each scan sequence. Between each one, they might move you slightly, which I was not aware of at all. But during like each sequence, so like each sequence is like 5 to 10 minutes or something, or just depends. It's just going to be like a different picture that they're taking essentially. But in between each sequence, they like move you, and the machine like jolts you into a different position. And really, it's not a big deal, but I just wasn't ready for that. And something that you can do is you can kind of look forward to it. It's like, oh, in 5 minutes, once this sequence ends, I'm going to get a little movement. But something that was also really good was since I told the technician that I, was claustrophobic and whatnot, she really understood that, and she would talk to me through the headphones. So when she started talking, the music would pause. I could hear her voice, and she would be like, "Okay, we got a new sequence. This one's gonna be 10 minutes long. You're doing really good." And then the sequence would start. The noise would change. Really, nothing's going on, anything different. But having her talk through it allowed me to kind of get perspective on how long I was in there and how much longer it would be, and it really helped. So then I'm going to be talking about some tips for staying calm. You can keep your eyes closed and imagine you're just lying in bed at home. That one's really good. Or if closing your eyes makes you anxious, you can keep them open. Both are fine. I personally switch between open and closed whenever I felt uncomfortable. You also have like a button in your hand, and if you squeeze it, the scan stops and they'll come get you. So that's something good to know. However, I would recommend just trying to actually brute force it out. Like, just see how long you can go. Even if you feel like you need to press it, just be like, I don't need to press it right now. Let's just see how much longer I can get into this, because pressing the button is going to stop the machine, and then they're going to have to like come in and talk to you and stuff, and it might just make it into a bigger deal than it actually is. And I think you are going to be more benefited from suffering through, sticking it out, and once you get through it, you're going to be so proud that you got it, and then also you're going to have the benefit of getting the imaging that you needed. So yeah, during the MRI, try to use this time to think about whatever keeps you calm. I used positive thoughts, or also like distracting thoughts to think about, like pretty much anything that was like something that I wanted to think about that wasn't panic attack, like, oh, I'm in this machine and this is so close to me and I'm getting claustrophobic. Just anything positive like that I could think about that wasn't related to that, I thought about. And things like, oh, what do you want to do for the rest of the day? What do you eat later? Et cetera, et cetera. Just whatever you can think about that isn't the fact that you're feeling claustrophobic. So yeah. Now, for after the scan, when it's over, to get out of the machine. They're going to be like, all right, that's it. They're going to go over the microphone and be like, all right, that's it. And we're going to come get you out. And then pretty much the same exact way you got in, they're going to do it in reverse. And they'll slide you out, they'll lower the table, they'll remove the equipment from you, the headphones and the thing over your face, or depending on what kind of test you're taking. Now, once you get out of the machine, you might feel a little lightheaded or dizzy, but that's just from lying down for a while. So this isn't from like the magnets or radiation. Literally, there's nothing from that's going to cause you to get any lightheadedness or anything like that from just the MRI. So don't feel worried about after the test. There's literally no problems with these magnets doing anything. It's literally just magnets. So there's no radiation in the MRI. It's just magnets and radio waves. Completely safe. So for the last test I had, they used a fish oil gel on my skin to show where they needed to scan. So this will happen sometimes, and it is literally not a big deal at all. Whenever I was talking to the technician on the phone and they said they were going to do this, I was getting kind of worried. So like, why don't I have to like take some kind of pill or something? And it was no, they literally just used like pretty much a pill on the outside of my face because it shows up, this fish oil, it shows up on the MRI as like a little bright color. So the area they were trying to scan, they put it on my face and then they taped it to show where they needed to scan. You can also usually ask for a blanket if it's cold. I used a blanket. And I also wore a sweatpants and a hoodie without any metal. So no zippers, no buttons, no jewelry. They'll like scan you with a little metal detector wand, and that's really good. Yeah, piercings. You want to take those out. But things like, this is something that I was worried about, teeth fillings or like your braces and your tattoos are all fine. So like if you had a cavity, these are not metals that need to be worried about. Just talk with a technician, but really the only thing, so like braces are fine too. Really the only thing that is problematic is going to be if you've had like severe facial reconstructive surgery and you have to get like metal plates put in your body, then that's something that you can't get the MRI, or there's going to be like different options for it. And so as long as you haven't had that, like normal teeth fillings or braces and your tattoos are fine. Just make sure you bring it up with a technician, but I just want to reassure you that normal teeth fillings and your normal braces are fine. All right, and then so mental prep, guys. I just want to say meditation helps a lot. I want to reemphasize that if you haven't been meditating and you have like an MRI tomorrow, it's not a big deal. But I just want to say the reason I was able to actually get through my MRI despite my severe anxiety and like claustrophobia and like panic attacks or whatever is because of meditation. And the reason why is because meditation is essentially push-ups for the mind. It's making your mind stronger. It allows you to realize whenever you are spiraling and catch that and be able to shift your focus into a more positive mindset. So I just want to reemphasize, guys, whenever you're in the MRI, it's a safe place. Nothing dangerous is happening. Remind yourself, if I can lie in my bed for 20 minutes, I can do this. You'll feel so proud and relieved after. Once you do something hard, you always feel amazing once it's done. Remember that before you start. Remember that while you're doing it. All right, and then I just want to say some final thoughts. Know what's coming. Use your coping tools and trust that you're safe. Guys, the MRI, you really don't need to worry about it. And then lastly, I just want to say each time you face something hard like this, you build confidence for the next challenge. So go through this. You got this. And if you are struggling with anxiety or agoraphobia or panic attacks, you might benefit from my anxiety guide, top link in description. Thank you for watching.